StraightallDay.com.
WorkonYourGameUniversity.com. Let's talk about what it really means to be a pro and how discipline is connected to it. If you are familiar with my work, you've heard me say this before. If you're not familiar, you'll hear me say it many times. If you just got here, welcome. Is that discipline is the hallmark of the professional. And another hallmark of the professional is preparation. Professionals always prepared ahead of time for whatever is going to be asked of them, because they do their homework to find out what's going to be asked of them or demanded of them, and they prepare to be able to do that before the demand comes. So when the demand comes, the professional is able to perform it in such a way that the untrained eye or the amateur sees the professional doing what they do as if they already knew it was going to happen, or as if they've done it a million times before, and the untrained eye is looking at them like, wow, this person must be super talented. This person is super gifted. Look at these things that they're doing, and they're making it look so easy. Now, here's the thing you need to understand. Are people who are professionals at what they do often talented at what they do? They often have some skills and some gifts that not everybody has? Yes, but that's not the reason why they're professionals, because can we also agree there are people out there who are skilled and gifted at things, gifted and talented rather, at things, yet they make very little of their gifts and of their talents? The answer is absolutely. We know that this is true. So what separates the pro from everybody else is that the pro actually does their homework, and then when you combine that with the gift, you combine that with the talent, that's when you get magic. That's when you get the legendary people who you all know of in whatever spaces. But the key is that they're doing their homework. The professional is doing their homework and preparing ahead of time for the thing, and then combining that with the gifts, now you get magic, and then people look at that and they think that this is something that just came out of the sky, and it's not. There's the work that went into it. And what does this have to do with you? When it comes to the discipline, your job as a high-level professional and a disciplined individual is that your worst day should be better than your opponent's best day. The day that you didn't get any sleep the night before, that you barely slept, you don't really have any energy, you're not really feeling the job that you're being asked to do, on those days, you should be able to prepare better. You should be prepared so that you can outperform your opponents, and you can outperform everybody else who hasn't done the work that you've done, the people who are not pros. A pro can outperform an amateur on the pro's worst day and the amateur's best day. And again, it's not because the pro is so much more talented than the amateur. Maybe they are, but that's not the reason why they can outperform them. They can outperform them because the baseline level of preparation that a amateur does is higher than the highest level of preparation. Baseline level of preparation that a professional does is higher than the highest level of performance, work, or anything that the amateur has ever done. Amateur doesn't even understand. When a professional goes through a warm-up for their workout, it's harder than the amateur's entire workout. And I'm using that as a metaphor so that all of you understand. You want to be a pro at what you do, the first thing you need to do is step up your discipline. Not all of a sudden become talented out of nowhere. Not all of a sudden get lucky or have some gifts or have access to certain resources or training or information or people or all the other things that most amateurs think would make them a pro. Those aren't the things that would make you a pro. What makes you a pro is the fact that you show up consistently and you deliver every single time. The hallmark of a professional is preparation through doing your homework and discipline. And then if you find the right vehicle in which to be prepared and be disciplined, that's when you look amazing and people think that, again, it's some kind of gift from God that you're able to do that thing. The good news is all of you have the potential to be a professional. You got to pick the right vehicle that fits your natural skills and aptitudes, and then you still got to do all the rest of the work. The most talented person you know in any space, the most talented entertainer, athlete, entrepreneur, mathematician, scientist, ballerina, whatever. Yes, they do have some natural gifts, but their gifts aren't so great that they could just become one of the best ever just off that. Because there's a lot of other people with those same gifts who didn't do what they did. You got to combine the work with it. And here's where it all starts to show. On the days and in the times when you don't really feel like it, when the energy is not really there, when you're not really excited, things are not really working in your favor, I call that the third day. I wrote a whole book about this concept. You can get a copy of that book for free by going to thirddaybook.com. There's a link down in the description to this video that gives you the link to get that book for free. Again, it's thirddaybook.com. I call that the third day. Times when you don't really feel like it, your energy is not there, you're not excited, you're not feeling the work that you have to do, you're not feeling the people that you had to deal with. It's just one of them days you ain't really feeling it. And I want you to understand that high-level professionals have these days just as often as everybody else has these days. The difference between a high-level pro and everybody else on a day like this is that the high-level pro still delivers in such a way that you, from the outside looking in, would not know that this is one of those days for the high-level professional, because their performance is still consistent despite the fact that they weren't really feeling like being at work that day. They didn't really feel like doing their job that day. They still deliver simply because they are already trained and disciplined and prepared to deliver. It's not even that they had to remind themselves like, oh, this is one of the days I don't really feel like it. Let me get myself hyped up or motivated or excited. Maybe they do that, but that's not the reason why they're able to perform. They're able to perform at the level that they do because they've already prepared and disciplined themselves to prepare at a certain baseline level every single time, regardless of how they feel. To the point, again, that they don't even have to have a pep talk with themselves about how to show up or be motivated or hyped or excited or whatever words you want to use. They don't have to tell themselves that. They're professional. Even if they do, they don't have to. Their performance is still going to be at a certain baseline level, and their baseline, their normal average day, is better than an amateur's best day. That's what I want you to understand. Their normal third day, the day they don't really feel like it at all, is better than an amateur's best day. And all of you have the potential to do that. You have to make the decision to be the professional. And what makes you a professional is, again, your approach. You show up every single time. You do what you're supposed to do, regardless of how you feel, so that your baseline level of performance is better than an amateur's best level of performance. If you choose to make that decision, understand we won't find out if you're serious about it until we get to a day that you don't feel like working. See, you might be excited and motivated listening to what I'm saying right now. That's not the time when we find out if you're serious. We find out if you're serious on a day when you're not excited, you're not motivated, you don't feel like it, you're tired, it's cold, you got a headache, you didn't get any sleep last night, your kids have been keeping you awake, your wife's getting on your nerves, now you got to show up and do the work. That's when we find out if you're a real professional. Now, if you accept that assignment, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Get into my program, have me as your personal coach. I was saying, my phone hoster doesn't want to be a professional. But if you accept this assignment that I'm giving you, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, have me as your personal coach, and let's get to work on applying this stuff in your personal life and in your business life starting tomorrow. And starting yesterday, not tomorrow, starting yesterday with me as your direct coach. That's, again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all